So we've got our recap, Q&A. This is my favorite week in this course, this BUSI 101 course. It's favorite week. I love all of the weeks, but this one is near and dear because of the business model canvas. You guys will be putting together a business model canvas, which I think is just awesome. I look forward to reading them. And we're going to dedicate some time to go over the business model canvas, what it is. I've got an example of this assignment from a student from the summer. So she gave me permission to use her her business model canvas to show you guys what it looks like. So we'll be going over that. So I'm excited about that. Somewhere in there, oh, hi, Angel. Somewhere in there, we'll be taking a break. Then we'll have an activity to set us up for AJ's visit for BioGraph LLC, just to get us going and get familiar with that. And then we'll have that visit. So let's just really get into it because we've got a lot. We've got a lot going on. So one, I just want to say again, kudos to everyone. Sorry about that. Kudos to everyone. Great work. That's all I have to say. Is a lot of great momentum. The exercise, strong work. Enjoy reading. Keep that level. Keep that momentum going. Moving forward. Just keep pushing forward with that same level of work and insight. So really proud of everyone with what you've done so far. Everything has been graded. So unless I'm missing something, and if I am, let me know. But the grade book has been updated earlier today. Like I mentioned, I go in there on Monday mornings, and that's my grading time, just to get things updated. If there were any outstanding assignments, I've gone in and updated the grade book. If I missed something, send me a quick note, quick email, and just let me know. On that, keep in mind, as per syllabus, no surprises, you're able to turn in late work up until the last day of class and earn 90% of the points. Now, if we talk about the assignments before the due date and make an arrangement, that's something different. And I'm emphasizing this because really two main things for you guys is that I don't want anyone to stress. So I don't want you to worry. I know you have other classes and projects, life. I don't want you to stress about the assignments, say, oh, I missed this assignment, oh my goodness. You don't have to worry about that. You'll be able to turn it in, right? So you'll be able to get in that assignment. The other thing is I do not want you to lose time. Time is valuable, right? So, and what I mean by losing time is you don't have to send me an email to say, hey, professor, is it okay? You don't have to, you just submit it. I'll see it. I know that it's not on time. I already know that. You don't have to send an email and then wait for me to respond. Do the assignment. I will see it. I'll accept it. Then I'll grade it. So you don't have to lose time or stress. What I will say on that note is you don't want to get too far behind, because really this is the thing. I do not doubt your abilities as far as getting the work done. That's not my concern if you get behind. I believe, if you get behind, you'll be able to do the work. The concern I have is the quality of work and the learning. Because if you get so far behind, and we've got, what, 10 weeks? You get so far behind and you've got so much to do, you may have to rush through it. You may have to rush through that work to get it done. So the quality, it's not representing you, right? It's not representing your ability, and the quality might not be there, as well as with the rushing and getting through it. If it's so much, you're rushing through it, you're not getting all of the learning, right? So all of these assignments, this isn't, this isn't math, this is business. You're learning skills. So all of these assignments that you're going through, the discussion board posts where you're analyzing, you're building business skills. So you want to take your time, be able to go through it and get it done. That's what I'm looking for, is making sure that you get the work done. That's why I accept the assignments all the way to the end. Make sure you get it done. And then you're building those skills. So keep that in mind. If you have any questions, reach out to me. You guys have been good with that. As far as connecting through the Remind, email, Instagram message. So you've been great with that. Send me a message. Let me know if you have any questions. If you need, if there's issues with the assignments, I'm here office hours. We have our office hours. I'm here. Come talk to me. I'll answer any questions. We can schedule some time. We also have peer tutoring. So we have a tutor for our course as well. So you can connect with the tutor and that information is in the announcements as well. So keep that in mind. But otherwise, good stuff, good work. If you are missing something or missing, so some of you are missing the peer reviews, get those, you'll see notes in there to get those done and to post those as soon as possible, as soon as you can, have that done. I'll go back, I'll grade it and update it. So, but really good work, great work. Let's keep it going. And like I said, this week I'm really excited because of the business model canvas. I can't wait to read them and to see how you put these together. I'm a big fan of the business model canvas. Any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts? You got the Q&A. All right, going once, going twice. All right, let's get it going. Okay. All right, so I've got a video. This is going to introduce us to, hold on one second. This is going to introduce us to the business model canvas. I just want to make sure that you're able to hear the sound. So this is a video that describes the business model canvas. Let me know, Goni, if you can give me a thumbs up on your screen if you can hear this. Awesome.
An organization's business model can be described with 9 basic building blocks: your customer segments, your value proposition for each segment, the channels to reach customers, customer relationships you establish, the revenue streams you generate, the key resources and key activities you require to create value, the key partners, and the cost structure of the business model. But it's not sufficient to just enumerate the 9 building blocks. What you really want to do is to map them out on a pre-structured canvas. This is what we call the business model canvas, a tool that helps you map, discuss, design, and invent new business models. Let's briefly go through the 9 building blocks, starting with the customer segments. These are all the people or organizations for which you're creating value. This includes simple users and paying customers. For each segment, you have a specific value proposition. These are the bundles of products and services that create value for your customers. The channels describe through which touch points you're interacting with customers and delivering value. The customer relationships outline the type of relationship you're establishing with your customers. The revenue streams make clear how and through which pricing mechanisms your business model is capturing value. Then you need to describe the infrastructure to create, deliver, and capture value. The key resources show which assets are indispensable in your business model. The key activities show which things you really need to be able to perform well. The key partners show who can help you leverage your business model, since you won't own all key resources yourself, nor will you perform all key activities. Then once you understand your business model's infrastructure, you'll also have an idea of its cost structure. So with the business model canvas, you can map out your entire business model in one image. This works for startup entrepreneurs just as well as for the most senior executives.
Awesome. Has anyone seen the business model canvas before?
No.
Okay. Have you
I've
heard, has
seen it
anyone,
once, but like,
I've seen it once and heard about it.
you said, wait, sorry, go ahead, Goni, and then Hannah, and then Libby.
oh, I just said that I heard about it from my mom and saw little about it because of my mom, but not in like depth.
Okay, okay, good. Hannah?
I was just saying I've seen it before and heard about it, but I've never gotten to really learn about it too in depth.
Okay, okay, good. Libby, what were you gonna say?
I just said that I've never heard of it before. So this is all new to me.
Okay, good. So the great thing is, so I'll back up to go forward. This is a tool. So it's a tool to help you to plan your business as well as present your business. It's developed by a gentleman who's a professor. His name is Alexander Osterwalder. And he came up with this model, and actually he wrote a book called The Business Model Generation. And he came up with it's 9 areas that you focus on. There's 9 areas, and I put it up here. This is the canvas, made of 9 areas, and this is what it looks like. It's really a visual representation of your business. You can write it up, right? You write it up, but this is a visual, kind of like if you've seen a poster presentation. Very easy to present. So in this business model canvas, 9 areas, you've got your key partnerships, key activities, the key resources that you use, your value proposition, customer relationships, your channels, who your customer segment is, your revenue streams, and your cost structure. So you break those down in bullet points, and you're able to talk through those key areas of your business. Now, with the exercise that we have for this week, what you'll be doing is you'll be coming up with a business idea. So you'll have a business idea, and once you have that idea, could be a product, could be a service, you'll be taking that idea and making a business model canvas for your business idea. With this, and that's why I'm so excited about it, because I get to read about your business ideas. So with this, you can it could be something that's similar to something that exists, could be something that's completely new. Many, from my experience, you're creatives, so many of the students focus on their studies, right? Their skill set. So I've had many photography students. They start I'm not saying that you have to do that, but that's what I've seen. They start a photography studio. Film student, production company. Same thing with animation, or some type of contracting. So there's different areas that you can go into. I recommend pick a business. If it's a restaurant, I've seen restaurants, clothing companies. If it's something that you're interested in, I recommend to focus on that, because you're going to spend some time to think through those 9 areas, right? So this is it's going to take some time, and really a lot of the time is not so much the work itself of making the plan. It's thinking through. It's thinking through, okay, Who are my customers? How will I make money with the business? What money do I have to spend in order to run this business? What value am I bringing to the marketplace, right? What is my value proposition? Who would be my partners? Who would I work with? Those would be your vendors. So you'll be thinking through all of these areas. That's what's going to take a lot of the time. So what I recommend, my strong suggestion is begin thinking through your business idea. Number one, you got to have the idea first, as soon as possible. If you can, after class today, jot it down, come up with the idea, and then slowly start building on it and working through the business model canvas. That will make it a lot easier. It will not be a daunting task. And what I mean by that is, if you wait until, let's say, Sunday night, Saturday night to do this, it can be a lot. And you may rush this. So it goes back to what I was saying before. Definitely you'll get it done. However, the quality, it may not be there because you won't have the time to really think it through. And I could see that in the end product, that you hadn't had the time to really think it through and to go through it. So you want to start as early as possible. And you don't have to do it all today, but get started on today and just do a little bit each day and think through the process. Jot down, take notes, and then put it into the document formally. We're going to go through the business model canvas, go through the different areas. I'm going to show you actually an business model canvas from a student from last quarter who submitted hers. She gave me permission to use it, but it's a paper, a submission. So we'll get to look at that and see how that was put together to give you an idea. I hope you find that helpful as well. Any questions so far? All right, all right.
I came a little late, so I was just wondering if this is like a new project, like just real quick.
Well, this is the assignment for this week. So I guess it's
Okay.
I guess it's new. No worries. You're right on time, AJ. I got the message.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so this is what we're working on this week. So it's great. I really think there's a lot of value in this, and out of the assignments, I spend a lot of time going over this one and working on this one with you guys. And I enjoy it. I love it. So, oh, I got break time. Hold on. Let me just show you what this looks like. Sorry. Actually, have you guys, sorry. I'm going to stop the share. I'm going to show you something else. So give me 1 second. This is exciting. Has anybody had a chance to look at the assignment for this week yet?
I briefly looked at it earlier today.
Okay. What were your thoughts on it?
I didn't really understand it because we hadn't met in class yet, but I'm starting to understand it more.
Okay, good. So, oh, you saw the video, Izzy? Good. I was just going to talk about that. So there's I'm going to share the screen. So when you go into the announcements, you'll also see a video here. I recommend watching the video. I short form explain about Alexander Osterwalder, where to go to actually get a template for it. So if you go to Alexander Osterwalder's website, which is Strategizer, you sign up. So this isn't, hold on, let me stop this share. So it's not required that you use the website. There's other, if you Google business model canvas, you'll come up with all types of canvases. But if you go to his website, he gives you a downloadable template where you can type into it. So it makes it a lot easier. So I recommend, and he's the one who invented it. So I recommend take a look at the website, go there. If you decide to use it, I think you sign up and you're able to download the business model canvas, which we'll look at in this example from one of the students. But it makes it a lot easier to put it together. So keep that in mind. And in the video, so if you forget some things that we talk about today, the video is maybe a few minutes long. You can always watch the Zoom recording, but you can always go back to that YouTube video, watch it. I break everything down as far as what we need to do, the business model canvas, where you can find on the Strategizer website. That's on that video that's in the announcement as well. So, and if you have any other questions, just let me know. What I wanted to do was go in here to the assignment itself and course units. And this is always a great place to go to find out what we have to do. Sorry. So where is it? Okay, can you guys see this? So you're going to explore a new business concept. Awesome, thanks, Libby. So, and when you say new business concept, that means product, service. You could be finding a way to improve an existing business. Maybe it's a restaurant, maybe it's a clothing company, shoe company. It could be a, like I said, I've seen a lot of photography studios. It could be a art gallery. So it could be definitely tied to what you're learning and what you're doing. If not, something that you're interested in. I really think you should find something and focus on something that you're interested in, because you have to think through these 9 steps. So the first part of it, if you see in the overview, you're going to fill out the business model canvas. So you're going to actually think through those 9 areas of the business model canvas. You're going to have to do some research on your part to dig into those areas. We're going to look at the example of a business in a student submission, but you're going to have to research in and think through how your business will work. And then after filling out the canvas, and the canvas is bullet pointed, so the areas in there are in the sections, those are brief bullet pointed sentences. And in that 2 to 4 page narrative, that's where you're going to go into detail on each of those 9 segments. So you'll have on top, you should have your business model canvas filled out. Then on the bottom, you'll have those 9 segments where you write out, you know, it could be a paragraph, 2 paragraphs where you talk about, let's say your revenue streams, how you're going to make money with your business. You'll explain that. Does not have to be in extreme detail. What it's called is a high-level overview. So it's designed to give an understanding. If it's a photography business, okay, we're going to take customers and we're going to do wedding photo. We're focusing on weddings, and they will find us online on our website, and they'll pay for our services through our website. So a high-level overview. You don't have to get into detail about Venmo or, you know, credit card processing and things of that nature. high-level overview, how you're going to make money, 2 to 4 pages. And when you see that, and this is another thing, when you see this MLA study, it's going to be double spaced. So always remember that it's going to be double spaced. If you're using any sources, so if you're researching, even if it's your textbook, cite your work, MLA style. So MLA style. So remember, double spaced, and then you're going to cite any research, even if it's from your textbook. So keep that in mind. And you'll have your business idea, the narrative, you'll save it as a PDF. So, and you want to make sure you submit it as a PDF, and you upload that. And I think I'll show you what this looks like. Now, any questions with this so far?
Do we need to upload it both to like discussion and the project? Like,
yeah, it's going to be another one of those. So you're going to upload it to me, and then you're going to upload it again for discussion, for peer review. So you'll upload it. To correct that, it won't be a you won't answer discussion questions, but you'll be peer replies. So you won't have to do 2 assignments. So you'll submit the 1 assignment twice, but you have to respond, and really it's a critique. So you'll be getting in there and critiquing, giving the peer review like you did this past week for everyone's business model canvas. Julia.
Yeah, how would the canvas be like kind of exported, like from the link that you gave us? Would it become a PDF that we'll be posting?
You'll save it as a PDF. You know what? I'll show you what it looks like. Any other questions before I do that?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
So you were saying like that we're gonna have a business or whatever. So does it have to be like art related, or could it be like any business that we wanted to try to start?
It could be any business,
Okay.
anything. Those are only recommendations. That was a good question, AJ. So I was not making any suggestions or recommendations. I was telling you what I saw, right? So you go ahead. What were you gonna say, AJ?
No, I was just gonna say okay.
Yeah, I was saying that a majority of what I've seen, so I read through these, so I've seen probably, I want to say probably about 300 of these. So out of those, I've seen a lot of them students do, they have ideas tied to what they're studying or what they're passionate about. It could be any type of business. My recommendation would be, in general, something that you're interested in, right? Because you're going to spend time thinking about this. This isn't the putting together the canvas. It's no problem. You guys got that down. Writing the 2 to 4 page paper, you got that down. It's the steps before then that's the big part that's going to take the time. Does that make sense, AJ? Are you there, AJ?
Yeah, I'm here. My Wi-Fi just cut out for a second.
Ooh, okay, I thought I froze on everybody, but
No, it's me today.
because I can't see anyone, so I thought maybe I froze again. But no, I think that what they call that is the ideation phase. The ideation phase, where you're coming up with the idea. That's going to take some time. Once you come up with the business idea, whatever it may be, then you have to think through those 9 areas in the business model canvas. You got to think it through. Okay, I've got my idea. So how am I going to sell this stuff to customers? How am I going to make money with this idea, right? So you got to think, who will my customers be? So that thinking process is going to be the most time consuming. So the actual writing, in my opinion, I don't think you guys have that down. That's the easy part. Let's take a look at this. I'll show you an example of a prior student, Mackenzie, and she gave me permission. Can you guys see this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm going to show you the whole document, and then we're going to go through it. And I'm going to tell you the one thing that she didn't do that I'd recommend she do. So at the top, so if you notice, I think Julia, you were asking if it's a PDF. So you see it's a PDF document saved as a PDF. I've got the business model canvas at the top. And then, which has the 9 parts. So as you can see, the canvas itself, there's just a few points. And that is the idea of it. This is really a visual document, and it's designed for a presentation. It's designed for it to be easily digested. It's designed for you to show, when you're giving a presentation and showing your business, easy to read, easy to see. You've got a few points, key points about the business and those 9 areas. When you go down that 2 to 4 page overview, this is what we're talking about. It breaks down what the business is, right? In this case, it's a workspace for film photography, right? So it breaks down what the business is. As you move through it, it's describing those 9 areas, right? In an overview, gives an overview of it, right? So any questions so far? I hope I'm not missing anything. No questions? So what do you think? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Is the value propositions the product? It's like going back up to the business model. Value propositions, the top middle, is that the product?
It's how your product helps.
Okay.
It's what
So the
problem
product's
you're
impact.
solving. How? Yes, that's another way of looking at it. Yes, product impact, problem you're solving, your solution, the value. So when you're selling your product or service, you're exchanging your value for money, right? People are paying for your solution. You're helping in one way. There's a problem you're solving. So yes, Alexander, good. I was going to say, looking at this, this part did not impact Mackenzie's grade. However, it's something that I thought was very important, and it had me very curious. What do you think is missing from this? Alex, you're going to say something? Your mic is...
Oh, no, sorry. I was just reading.
So what do you guys think is missing from this? This is good. I get everybody quiet. Okay, somebody wrote in the chat. Let me go to the chat. So there is a visual representation. You're close. You're close. You've got this great idea for a business. What do you think was burning in Professor Akpan's mind? Like,
Maybe a name for the business?
There you go, AJ. Look at that. What's the name of the business? So it's not required, it's not required that you come up with a name. However, if you don't have a name for it, you're going to see somewhere in the comments me asking you, what's the name of your business? What will you call this, right? What will you call it? That was one of the things that stood out. So still a work. It's just we're missing the whole name for the business. I always want to know, what would you call this? It's so interesting, right? So
How would we figure up the cost structure?
well, you would think through. So again, you're going to think through the things that you would have to pay for. So if you look, can you guys see the bottom part of the canvas?
Can now.
Okay, good. Cost is money going out. Revenue, money coming in. So when you're thinking of the cost, just like Mackenzie listed out here, for this business, she's going to need a building space, film, chemicals. She's got to pay for canisters, reels, can openers, darkroom bags, and scanners. Those are the main things you have to have. You don't need to talk about paper clips, garbage cans, desks. The main things you need to have this business running, to do your operating activity. Again, and that was a good question, Alex. This is a, huh? What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, so key resources would be semi-linked to costs?
Hold on, let me finish with the cost.
Okay.
So it was a good question, because this is a business model canvas, different than a business plan. High level overview. You're only getting into the things that the person needs to know, right? The main things. You're getting down to this is the entree of the meal. You're not getting into the entree, the appetizer, and the sides. You're only focusing on the entree. So what was your question?
My question was, would key resources be linked into the costs? So, like, how would the key resources be linked into, what is the relationship between the key resources and the costs on the graph?
Yeah, the key resources are equipment, assets that you need in order to deliver your product or service. So if
And
you
the
see
costs,
how it's tied, so if you see how it's tied in, you see the cost, that's money. You got to spend money, right? You have to spend money to buy the chemicals, right? What are you spending the money for? The chemicals. The chemicals are key items that you need in order to do this film business, right?
what I was meaning is, like, so when we're listing the key resources, would that be what's listed in the costs as well? Or is there any difference between it when we're like typing it up?
Yes, that's what I'm explaining.
Okay, so key resources would be listed as resources for producing the product, and costs would be listed as the things we need to pay for to, like that, like, I guess I'm confused really with like, so we're listing the key resources, which is things we need for the company. And then the costs, we list the things we need for the company as well? Or would that be somewhat different?
Key resources are the things that you need to do your operating activities.
And the costs,
your costs are what you need to.
And the costs are those also, or the costs are that and plus more with?
Well, that's what I'm explaining. The costs are overall what you need to have the business. So in order to, let's say, for example, if you're, and I'm not an expert on the film, is someone a photography major in here?
I am here.
Okay, Kelsey. So let's say, for example, you're developing, your business is photography and you develop film. Your key resources are the materials you need to develop film. That's your operating activity. That's what you do. You develop the film, but you can't do it outside. You can't do it on the street. You need a building, you need a room, you need a space to do that. So that cost is what you would put under your cost, overall cost. You need a space in order to do your business. So
Okay,
that's why
yeah, okay, yeah, I'm getting it now. Okay, that clears it up. Yes.
yeah. So if you look at the canvas where it talks about cost, these are the overall costs in order to run your business. You're going to need a space. You're going to need a building space, whether you rent it, a room, some place to do your business, right? You need the chemicals as well. You're going to maybe need some equipment. That's all of the money that you have to spend for your business. The key resources are the things that you exactly need for your operating activities or what your business does. Does that help?
Yeah, I'm getting that the resources are what you need for production and the costs are the things you need to pay for in general to set up the business.
The correct term is operating activities.
Right, that.
Production, because production means that you've got something tangible. And operating activities means that it could be either it's what your business does to make money, which could either be product or service, tangible or intangible. So when you say production, that means you're making something physical. You have something physical. So your operating activities. Good question. Let's go through this. Well, let me ask you this as a class, and you can give me a thumbs up. Is looking at this helpful?
I think so.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, good. This is, you guys, is the first time that I've gone through this using an example. So I just wanted to get some feedback on that. So you're going to go through this. So think through it. You're going to look at your key partners. Key partners can vary depending on the type of business that you have. In this case, her key partners, she has teachers and mentors who teach classes and workshops. Also, photo companies who sell the supplies required for her business. So these are vendors. She needs these, so these are outside vendors. If you're selling actual products, right, you may need, or you're manufacturing. So like Alex was saying, production, you're making something, you're putting something together, you've got to get those raw materials. So you have vendors. If you're selling something, so let's say, for example, you're a retailer and you're not manufacturing those clothes, you still have to buy them from someone. You got to get it from somewhere, right? So you're going to talk about who those partners are. Then you're going to get into, okay, what are some of, and here's the thing. When you look at this, the way the business model canvas is broken down, and when you see the language, it's key partners, key activities. These are the main, again, it goes back to that analogy I gave about the entree. You're talking about the main areas. My rule of thumb is 3. Try to think of 3 main partners, right? In this case, she has 2, or you could tie it to 3 because she says teachers and mentors, right? And then photo companies. So I try to use the rule of 3. I'm gonna think of 3 at least, but those are the main ones. If you're going into listing 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, you've gone too far. You want to focus on key areas, the main areas. So keep that in mind. And the other thing is with this, it needs to be concise. So that makes it even harder because in my opinion, it's easier to elaborate than it is to put something into a concise form. So you want to think it through and be concise with it. So then you want to talk about the key activities. So what is it you do, right? The key things that you do. You may do other things, but try to think of the top 3 activities that your business does, right? What do you do? Your value proposition. Alec, I'm going to pick on you, Alec. What did you say? You said, you gave a good answer. answer, and I forget. I'm so sorry.
You have to be more specific.
You, you,
Um,
you gave a good description of the value proposition. You said, I can't.
impact, like the impact.
Yes, impact. Impact. Your impact. I like that. Thank you. So your impact, your solution, what problem you're solving, right? So that's what the value you provide. What are people paying you for? Why are people paying you? So you got to remember, as a business, there's an exchange, right? Someone is paying you for something, whether it's a product or a service. What is that for? What impact? How are you helping people? What are you bringing? Another way, what are you bringing to the marketplace? What are you bringing to the marketplace? That was good. Impact. I like that. I like that. And then you want to think about your relationship with your customer. So, and think about last week, where we think about with who do we have? Chris. Chris was here, right? How he worked with his customers. He sells his product. I don't think he talked about the life cycle of his product, but I think it's, what is it, six? Did he talk about how long his stripes last? You guys? You guys remember boosted stripes?
Yeah, I remember that conversation, but I don't remember if he mentioned how long they last.
I got you. I talked to him, so I can't remember if he spoke to you guys. Okay, let me see here. Someone's in the chat. Let me just see that. I don't know. Okay, thanks. He might not have. So it's about six to 8 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, for that his stripes last, right? And he would like to have a long-term relation. In other words, he wants to have repeat customers. So it's not a situation where someone comes and buys and they go away, and then he's constantly looking for new customers. He is looking for new customers, but he also wants to develop a relationship with the customer. So that customer, they buy from him, then they come back and buy again in another 6 to 8 weeks. They buy their shoe cleaner. You remember, he sells laces. So he wants to establish a relationship with that customer in the longer term, not a transactional is the word, not a transactional relationship where it's a short term, you just buy it and go, right? He wants to establish a long term. So again, this is great. So this is what I mean by actually putting together the canvas. In my opinion, is easy. Just writing this and filling it out. It's thinking through your idea and your business. I think that's going to take the time. That's going to take the brain power. That's going to be the challenging part. Then the other one is, so it goes back to that. You talk about how you help, right? So your solution, who are you helping? Who are your customers? Another name for this is who's your customer segment, right? We saw with boosted stripes, these were, what did you call them? Sneaker people? You know, people who like sneakers, that wear Adidas, who are interested in those things. So who are these customers? You could talk, so she talks about photographers, right? So you want to think through, well, okay, who am I actually helping? What's my customer segment? Could be more than one group, but again, use the rule of 3 with this. Oh, sorry. I would recommend, I would recommend the rule of 3. Sorry, I don't know why it's doing that. You know, think of 3 areas, and what's going to happen this is going to have you to be concise. And then in your write-up, you're going to elaborate more on these areas in your business. You're going to talk more about it there. Whether it's a few sentences, you're going to elaborate in more detail. Again, here's the other key. Again, you're not getting into the appetizer to the dessert, right? You're still going to focus on the entree, but you're going to describe the entree in more detail. Really, what the 2 to 4 page write-up is taking the place of you giving a presentation. Does that make, can I get a thumbs up if that makes sense, or if that doesn't?
It makes sense.
Yeah, good, thanks, Drew. Awesome, Abby, awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, because with the business model canvas, you would actually, this would be posted up either on a screen, on a wall. Someone would be looking at this and you would be presenting this, right? So you would be presenting this. So that 2 to 4 page write-up is really your presentation. So you're getting into that. And for me, what I look for with this, and we're going to get into the resources and channels, but what I look for is that focus, right? That detail. Because looking at this initially, you're like, well, oh, wow, these are just a couple of points. This is hard to put this through, right? To have to think through these points and to think through like, oh, okay, so this is the business I'm putting together. Okay, who's my customer segment? To tie all of this in, this takes work. So I want you to keep that in mind. Go ahead, Megan.
Oh, I didn't say anything. I just showed up.
Oh, sorry. You guys have to forgive me. I'm getting my second monitor, but I'm in between Zoom. I can't see all of you. So I get a green circle around those of you who turn off your mic. So I think you want to speak. So that's why I say something. But no worries. So the key resources. So we're going to get into some business jargon called operating activities. And Alex was asking a great question. Operating activities, this is what you do to generate revenue, to make sales, right? Now, when you talk about key resources, these are the assets, these are the items that you need in order to do your business activities, your operating activities that will generate sales. So this is what you need to do your business, right? You have to have these in order to do your business. So you're going to focus on the key items that you need, key items, critical to do your business. And then we gave the example, if you're developing, if your business is to, I guess, with the chemicals to develop photos, you need the paper, right? You got to have the paper and you have to have those chemicals. Otherwise, you're not able to develop the pictures, right? So you need that. And then when we talk about your channels, this is how are people going to get your product and service and find out about your product and service, right? How are they going to be able to do that? How are they going to find out about you? You know, I mean, we live in the technology age, the internet age, and in, you know, the sub section when we talk about marketing, it's the social media age, right? So, and she even has it listed here, social media pages. And then she breaks in parentheses, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So those are the social media pages. And then online advertisement and public displays. So you can look at those as 3, right? So that's how they're going to find out about you. That's how they're going to get to the product they're going to pay, right? Make orders, sales, online, right? So it breaks that down. That's what we need to know. That's the entree. That's how you're going to connect with your customers who are your, Sorry, I'm going to try to go back. Yeah, this is how you're going to connect with your customers or your customer segment, right? Or your target market. However you want to title that. It's the same thing. Customers, customer segment, target market, end users. Can you guys, can you see this all right? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay, great. And the bottom part, and really the way Alexander Osterwalder designed this in such a way to have the revenue and the costs at the bottom, right? So that's the foundation of this model, because the revenue, this is the money that's coming in. The cost is all of the money going out, right? So your cost, that ties into, yes, your key resources, the assets, the equipment that you need to do your business, to make money, but you also need to have a space, right? You got to have a building. You're not going to, if you're developing these pictures, you need a dark room, right? So you need a dark room. You need a space to do that. Whether you rent it or you have a building, you have to account for that. You got to pay for it, unless somehow you get the space for free. So you have to talk about that. And those are the main costs that you have for your business. So along with whatever assets or key resources you need, you talk about the main costs, which typically you're going to have a big equipment and a place to do your business. When you get into what you get, or your revenue, another name for revenue is top line. So top line is, it refers to the income statement. Another name for income statement, statement of earnings, P&L, or profit and loss statement. It's the top line. Revenue, short, sales revenue. This is the money from sales, right? So for the sale of products and services. So you're exchanging these products and services for money, right? For consideration. So it's showing those sales and that money that's coming into the business, all of the money that's coming in. So what you're explaining here is, okay, how are we getting paid? How are we making money? In this case, it's a fee-based, a monthly fee. So a subscription. So you can think of, there's subscription models. You've got Netflix, Disney Plus, where you pay monthly, a set fee, and then it gives you access, right? So you pay that fee, you get access to, in the case of Netflix, to their movie portfolio, right? Or you may pay a monthly fee, you get access to a space, you get access to equipment. Others, you exchange, you get ownership of an item, you're buying something. So you've got to talk about, okay, what's the main way that we make money? What's the main way we make money from our business? And again, this goes back to, and then we're going to go to break in a minute, but I'm going to answer any questions. This goes back to that, to me, this is the hard part. You got to sit back and think, how am I going to make money? You know, is it a subscription service? How am I going to charge the customers? You know, think about that. The other thing is high level. So if you notice, we're not talking about the amount of money that you're going to charge them. We're talking about how you're going to charge. So it's there's a difference. It's high level. It's not talking about they're going to pay a $15 or $20. No, they're going to pay a subscription fee. So you're discussing your business at a high level. Sorry, I'm getting fired up about this. Any questions? No question. Did I do a good job in explaining that? Okay.
I mean, I think I understand what's going on.
Okay. All right. I got okay, okay. All right. Well, let's take our break. It's 6 o'clock. We'll take it as promised. Come back at 10 after 6. and then we'll keep pushing forward. It was good stuff. Awesome. See you in 10 minutes. All right, everybody, let's bring it back. Oh, this is good. Okay, so bench sharing. Let me go back and oh, I gotta find the Nearpod. Sorry. Here is there it is. Did the break. We looked at. Okay, let's spend some time on this. Awesome. All right. So you should see another slide on the Nearpod, and this is a link. Takes us, if you click on it on your device, it will take you to this website. There are many different websites, and I recommend that you go through again, the rule of three. First I would go to Alexander Osterwalder. He is the inventor of the business model canvas. The only thing is that on his website, there's not a lot of drill down into the various segments. So if you use this link or another that you find that's easy to read, which is fine, it breaks down the components. Now remember, this is a tool, and this tool, it's standard. So there's 9 parts to it. So you'll find, so wherever you look for a business model canvas, it has the same 9 parts. What may differ is the way that they're explained or expressed to you. In other words, the language that they use, right? So when we talk about customer segments, they talk about, who you're offering your products and services to, who you're selling to, your target market. They may express it in different ways. It's all the same thing. So I'd recommend to take a look at a few of them that speak to you, so that it may come across in a way that's easy for you to digest and understand. If you have any questions about the different areas, contact me, let me know. I would do some research on the 9 areas and the 9 parts, and then look through them. There's some websites that give you examples. So if you wanted to look at more examples of how they're done or the parts of them, you can as well. But this website goes through the customer segments, value proposition, channels, customer relationships, and then it's got that heart, revenue streams, right? So you see the money. It asks that question again: how do I make money, right? And then your key activities. So it talks about that, your key resources, and then it breaks that down. Your key partners. So it puts it in effect of suppliers. So when I talk about the way it's expressed, when you see suppliers, partners, vendors, it all ties in. It's the same general way of saying things. These are outside of your business. You need these relationships in order to deliver your operating activities. So when you're talking from a high level, you may see it expressed in different ways. Cost structure, and then so that's all the 9. That's the 9 areas. So so again, like I was saying, the end product, I think that is the easiest part. So in other words, the back end work, I think, is a lot less time consuming. It's more of the front end work that's going to take more of the time. And then the more of the front end work and more time you invest in that front end work, it makes the back end work a lot easier. So the more, even if it's just brainstorming and thinking it through on the front end, you spend more time doing that, especially on those 9 areas. It should be no problem to put it all together on the back end. So that's why I emphasize, and I hate to be beating the horse here, but that's why I emphasize this evening, tonight, coming up with your idea, sticking to it, focusing on it, and then start thinking about those 9 areas in the canvas, and then use the rule of 3 to stay focused. And what I mean by that is many times we can kind of get pulled into broad areas. So you might start thinking about 9, 10, 11, 12 different things when you need to just pull it in and stay focused on the top 3. So that's why I use the rule of 3, but at least 3. Could be 2, but come up with at least 3 areas for each part of the business model canvas. I think that would be a good formula to follow. Sorry, were you able to see that video, the website? Can I get a thumbs up if you were able to see it? I hope you were. Okay, good. Thanks, Goni. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. You are a great class. Awesome. All right, so we're going to move into, sorry. We're going to move into, so unless you have any other questions, so do you have any other questions with the business model canvas? Okay. Oh, before I forget, if you do, feel free to reach out. If you want me to look, if you want to run your business idea by me, if you want to send me your canvas before you submit it, hey, I'm happy to look at it. I won't grade it, but I'll give you some feedback on it. At least let you know if you're moving in the right direction. Again, Remind is an amazing application, and I say that because through the experience I've had with this course and the other courses from this quarter, I'm a mobile person. I'm always on my phone. So I've had students send me their papers through that Remind app. In one click, I can open it up. I've got it there on my phone. I don't have to download and wait. And so it streamlines things. So I recommend, if you don't already have it, try it out. If you want to send me something, if you want a quick, fast response, I would recommend using the Remind to send it to me for me to look at. It just streamlines everything. So we're going to move into our prep work for our class visitor. So we've got AJ coming from BioGraph LLC. And what we're going to look at is a explainer video from their website. And the explainer video, it's going to talk about what they do. So after you watch this, it's about 1 minute and 13 seconds. Want to get your feedback. If it's effective, does it make sense? Is it helpful? Oh, there's Kelsey. And I'm going to pick on someone. Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear this?
Everybody has a story.
Awesome.
BioGraph empowers people to make books that enlighten, entertain, and inspire the world. We've streamlined the writing process from the first spark of creativity all the way through publication. Whether you intend to create a better world, record valuable truths from your experience, or give the gift of a lifetime, BioGraph makes it easy and exciting to connect with your audience. Start with an idea and develop custom questions and storylines. Invite others to participate in your story. BioGraph facilitates interviews while you're in your element, in the comfort of your home, enjoying nature, feasting with family, or traveling with friends. We gather stories from your book participants. Then we curate the stories and photos into a powerful narrative and beautiful book. We make it easy to publish your story and ensure your book reaches your audience. BioGraph. Tell your story.
So does this explainer video, does it do the job? Does it tell you what they do?
Yes. I'm kind of like getting the idea that they're like a blog and technology company, but I guess like it's kind of still like I'm still like lost about like how it's done, or like the audience relevance to the app. So like I get that it's like for people who want to tell their story, but like it's still like kind of unclear to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks, Julie. Anybody else?
For me, I thought the first part had me thinking it was more of a blog. So I was a little bit confused by that, but as soon as it got to the point where they were like showing the images of like the books being published stuff, it kind of made more sense to me. So it took me till about halfway through, 3/4 of the way through the video to understand exactly what was going on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
I wasn't exactly sure what the specifications were for publication, but when it kept on repeating the name BioGraph, it kind of clicked in my head that like, okay, so that's what it's referring to as far as like the specification of what they're publishing and really. So like I was kind of thinking like, so is this just like for people to like do publishing and interact with their audience? And then it was kept on repeating its business name, BioGraph, bio, and I was like, oh, okay, I understand what we're talking about now, like what audience we're looking at.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good. Thanks, Alex. Anybody else?
I think that with how they made the video, it's very easy for anyone to, even though like it was more broad than like they should have been more specific about what the company is. However, the language they used and their like animation make it very easy for anyone to understand in the end what it is, no matter like education level or age wise. It's just very generic to every like customer group.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was agreeing.
No, I was just saying that like I think what they try to do, and like in some way it also succeed, is that they were just trying to simplify it so everyone can understand it and everyone will be able to access it in the most easiest way.
Okay. Anyone else? That was good. Do you think the video is too long?
Well, I don't think it's like too long or like too short. Like, I think at this moment, maybe like if you're like coming up as like an ad on YouTube or something, like you'll definitely be skipped like ultimately. But like it probably, yeah, but it probably isn't like too long if it's like somebody who's actually coming to watch it for the ad. You know, like some people kind of try to explain like how they use the app and then how like it's gonna like work out. It just becomes like an entire workshop for like 3 minutes or so, or like 4 minutes. Where it didn't feel like that, like a whole presentation. It was more like a little skit to advertise.
Okay. Okay. Good. Goni, were you going to say something?
No.
Well, okay. Anyone else? You think it was too long?
On some of it, I think it was a little bit overcomplicated. This, especially towards the beginning part, but I don't know, just possibly.
Mm, mm. Anyone else? That was good, Drew.
I don't think it was too long. I think they just could have done a better job explaining in the very first half. That kind of made it feel long because I felt like a lot of people were just a little bit lost in the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Good. Rio?
Is there a possibility how like companies do that intentionally to like kind of be unclear at the beginning so that like the people who are watching will be curious to watch till the end to get the final message? Do you think that's like a technique they use?
It is a technique. Whether that's a technique here, I can't say. And the reason that I'm asking that question is because, so AJ, the person who's coming in here today, we had a conversation. I want to say maybe two weeks ago we were talking, and I was so excited because I began repurposing YouTube content. Does anybody know what repurposing content is?
Yeah, I think you talked about it, about like cutting the footage into like a minute and stuff, right?
Exactly, Julie. So I have, and if you guys ever go to one of my YouTube channels, that I'll have videos on there that are like 50 minutes long, me giving talks and things of that nature. So I've been repurposing that content, having that pieces of that content cut up into 1 minute segments and then captions put into the segments and pictures and things into that segment for me to post on social media. So to post on TikTok, Twitter, and Reels, so Instagram, etc. So I was talking to AJ. I was so excited about this. So I was telling him what I was doing. Go ahead, Libby. What were you going to say?
Sorry, I didn't say anything.
Oh, no, it like I said, it lights up when you, I thought you were going to say something. So I got so excited about this. I was telling AJ about it, and I told him that the content's about a minute long, and he was like, wow, that's a long time, because the average, watch time is about 23 seconds. So then I'm like, But then I told him the reason I had it cut at 1 minute is because, I don't know if you guys are you familiar with IGTV?
A little bit, yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. The thumbs up. So IGTV, you need, the content has to be a minimum. Okay, I got it. Yes. So it's got to be a minimum of 1 minute to upload it to IGTV. So that was the reason for the 1 minute in length. So I thought this was interesting when, you know, they have an explainer video that's a little bit over 1 minute, and we were just, you know, he was just telling me, hey, you know, your content is long. So I thought that was interesting, you know, and I wanted to get your feedback on what you think is a long time. Do you think a minute is a long time for content, or is that a short period of time? What are your thoughts?
I think that's a good period of time depending on the content that you're sharing.
What do you mean depending?
Like YouTube videos of like makeup and stuff that I watch sometimes, they get so like sometimes they're too long, but then sometimes it's like not enough. So I don't really know like how to explain it. I just know that if they're sometimes when they speed it up, I like it better, you know?
Okay. When it's shorter or
Yeah,
faster to
when
the
it's
point?
shorter. Because like I know in my communication class that I'm in right now, we talked about like your audience's attention like is higher in the beginning and then it goes down and then it comes back up at the end. So the shorter the time is, the better.
Gotcha. Okay. Good point. Anyone else?
I think that like it really depends on like how good you can like hook on to your audience, because like for example on YouTube there are some ads that are like maybe 10 minutes long. No, it's probably not 10 minutes, but it feels like 10 minutes because they say a lot during that time, and I'll almost watch the whole thing because I think it's funny. Like there's this commercial called Liquid Death, and they're just selling water in a can, but they say it's like, oh, they always put water as like something like dainty and girly, but it kills so many people, so we're calling it Liquid Death. And I only saw the commercial once, and I can remember the name of it. And
okay.
yeah, and then there's this other thing called like the cube pillow or something like that, and it's just a pillow that's square, and I sat there for like 5 minutes watching that commercial because I thought it was so funny. Like, and I still remember that, and I've only watched those commercials once. But like with other ads that are like not funny or like not engaging, I want it to be like 30 seconds so that I get the point and I move on.
Gotcha. Are those ads, Estefania, are those ads more of what they call brand awareness, or are they call to action? In other words, they're asking, when you say you want to get to the point and move on, is it more the brand awareness, or is it the call to action? In other words, someone asking you to buy something?
It's kind of both. Like if it's shorter, to me, it makes sense that it's brand awareness if the commercial is longer and it's funny because it's engaging with the audience and it's relating. Because like one of the jokes was like, it's good enough for you because you're lonely or something like that, because a lot of people don't have a significant other to sleep with, and that pillow was good to like hug. So yeah.
But it didn't ask you to buy it. It was just letting you know about it.
Yeah, it was letting you know, like based off of science, that it should be working, and also they were throwing in jokes at the same time.
That was good. So do you think humor helps as well?
Definitely.
That's interesting. That's good. Humor is hard. Humor is very hard. It's very hard. This is good. All right, so let's look at this. So let's take a look. Oh, so we've got some people already in there. So if you go to BioGraph, LLC.com, if you go to their website, if you take a look at their social media. Actually, the main thing I would say is go to their website and take a look and see what products they sell, where do they sell them, so where can you buy them, and think about this from the lens of the business model canvas, right? How can you buy the products? What are their products? And then who are their customers? So this really ties directly into what we were talking about with the business model canvas. So take a few minutes. Oh, I'm sorry if you didn't, I apologize. If you want to join in on the Nearpod, please go to join.nearpod.com, join.nearpod.com, and the code is QIG5A, QIG5A, and it's join.nearpod.com if you want to participate in this activity. We've got a few more questions tied to, actually one more question tied to this, to our speaker. If you want to participate, join.nearpod.com. The code is over in the left-hand corner of the screen over here, QIG5A. This is good. All right, I see Parker's in there, Izzy's in there. Alex got a computer. Parker's in there. Julia, Drew, Rio. Awesome. Let's take about 4 more minutes. 4 more minutes. Oh, look at that. Parker's got the computer. Wow, look at Drew, Estefania, Rio. Okay, Alex. Alex submitted, Estefania. About 3 more minutes. Great, you guys are very creative. Got about 2 more minutes. All right, Alex submitted, Estefania. Skylar submitted. Okay, I didn't see that. Parker submitted. Awesome. You guys are so artistic. Great. All right, we got 1 more minute. Oh, look at that. Elena submitted. No worries. Elise, no worries. All right, so we're gonna have to get started. Let's just run through this really quick. I apologize to those of you who are not finished, but want to make sure we get through before our visitor comes, just out of time's sake. Parker, can you just briefly describe your what you drew here? It's nice.
From what I saw, it just seemed like the company was for streamlining the writing process and making it quicker and faster and easier for people to tell their stories, even if they're not typically a writer. So I felt like it's like a good universal writing tool for to tell someone's story.
Good, good, awesome. All right, Izzy.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm sorry, I've been having a little bit of trouble with
No
my
worries.
audio. So obviously the link is where you can actually buy the books that they have. And that's a book, if you couldn't tell. And then I wasn't sure what to like draw for the like what type of like customers they like people they actually sell to. But from what I got, like reading the descriptions of the books, it's a lot of like personal like autobiographies and stuff. And like at least some of the ones that I read were kind of like that. Yeah.
That was good. That was good. Good work.
Thank you.
Scott, you're welcome, Izzy. Skylar.
All right. So what I found on their website is that, like on the website, you can start creating your book, and then also when you're finished, you can actually publish your book through them. And then I also found that they do have their bookstore where you can buy their clients' books that they publish using BioGraph as well. And so I was just trying to show that like this could be more towards customers who have been wanting to write their own personal stories and stuff, and now they actually have a chance to do that and get it published for others to read.
Good, good. Awesome. Julia?
Yeah, the internet was like kind of jacky, so I didn't get enough information because like it was really slow to process the website. But like I roughly like looked through the first like the page, and I saw like that they called the people who like publish the books under their company's name as contributors, and that they're like doing like ebooks and audiobooks as well. So I thought it was like kind of a little bit of like it had like a little Kindle kind of function where people can like read books online on their devices. Yeah, and then they had like the bookstore tab, which I assume to be like an online platform of a bookstore kind of thing. So I thought that was like a pretty creative.
Good, good. Let's see, Elena.
I did like a stick-figure person, like it's supposed to be them talking and then it's supposed to show their words going into a book.
Awesome. Good, good. All right, Drew.
All right, I tried to answer all the questions as fast as possible in the time that we had, so some of my answers might not be full, complete. But for products, I kind of looked at what they were selling for the products, like what the the packages were, and I saw like autobiography, kind of like a quote book, and then I didn't know what I saw, but I think I saw your book actually. So I tried putting the A for year in because I didn't know what the heck the type of book was called. Where they sell it, I only saw the website. I'm sure they sell it other places like bookshops or whatever, or ebooks, as someone else pointed out. I'm sure, but I didn't see it personally. How you can buy. It looked like to start, you had to like organize like a phone call with someone or something along the lines of that. Just if you want to get your book, like you want to start working on it. And then I also saw that the website had others who had gone through this process already, and they sold those at like a shop that they had. And then for customers, I tried to show like an age range. So my guess is like in between like the ages of like maybe like 40 to like even like 80, 90 years old. People like want to write like an autobiography. That was my guess at least.
That was good. It was good. Let me see. Let's Alex, we're going to end with you, and then we're going to have to switch to the next activity. We'll see.
Well, mine was just it's a publishing firm. It's an online publishing firm. So their product is the stories that people want published through them, and being online means that they can get it to just about anybody who can get access to the internet and the website. So is pretty just a wide range of typical publishing stuff as far as I could see, except they also acted as retailer as well as publisher from what I saw. So kind of like I don't know. It's a lot just like it's a lot from what I saw, just like a publishing and retail site. Wrapped into one.
Good, good. Hold on, let's see if we can get through these. Estefania. Thanks, Alex.
So I basically put that you can buy everything online. I put like the type of customer is basically somebody who wants to share their story. And that's why I made them like blank, because it could be literally anyone. And I put that the product is books.
Good, good, awesome. And Rio, got the colors.
So I did the little Wi-Fi symbol because it's an online marketplace, so you can buy books and you can also create your own books. And those were going to be books on the right, but I got distracted by the website again. So, but yeah, for the age range, I didn't really write anything down, but I thought that this like would vary a lot, because I think the people interested in this website would be just creative people, and that doesn't have so much like a direct like you know what I mean? Like it's not like 20-year-olds are the only creative people, and it's not like 60-year-olds are the only creative people. It's a wide range of people.
That was good. That was good, Rio. And it's hard because you're you're looking through to try to figure this out. But think about it. These are some of the questions you're going to have to answer about your business. That was good. Thank you, Rio. Okay. So that was it. We got everybody. We're going to move to the next activity. Sorry we had to move through that, but I want to make sure that we at least get through these activities. We got about 7 minutes till our visitor comes. Take a look. You've already been to the website. Go to the social media as well. You can go to BioGraph Book on Instagram, and then they have BioGraph on YouTube. Take a look at either one of those areas, if you or all three, and just come up with 3 questions for AJ. You can either post it here or turn off your mic and share it out with everyone. The other thing, I'm going to stop. So when he comes in, I'm going to stop sharing. I want to see if we can try to put our cameras on so he's not looking at a whole room of names. And I'm going to turn off the Nearpod and everything like that. So hopefully it'll work okay. But yeah, when he comes in, if you don't mind turning your cameras on. How did you come up with the business? That's a good question. And another thing too, and I just thought about this, and I hope this, helps you or inspires. If you're looking to start your business, AJ and Aaron, who started the BioGraph, they started this with their own funding. You can ask them. Same thing with Chris. If you remember Chris from Boosted Stripes, self-sourced, funded a business. Same thing with AJ and his brother Aaron. They started it up with a little, a few $1,000s and built up the business into a larger business. He's probably going to talk about the app. They developed an app to it's a digital platform where people can, well, he can explain, you ask the question, he'll explain it to you. But they've developed a new product that they're moving into. Audience, that's great. Ooh, that's a good question. Outside the US. Okay. And then the other thing I want you guys to think about is, like you saw with Boosted Stripes, Chris's product, $8, $15, right? High traffic. AJ, so BioGraph's product, they started it very expensive, and now they're moving to a different price point, and they're moving from a very high-end, high-priced product to developing other products that are not as high in price point. So that's something else to think about. Keep in mind. It's good questions. Factors did you consider when determining whether the business has the potential to, okay, that's good. Let's see some more questions. It's good. I'm lucky to have a class full of such bright minds. This is great. It's good. Source for determining the price range of the product. Okay, that's a good one. All right, this is good. You got some good questions. Let's see what else. Ah, that's a good one, Drew. Who's your target demographic? What type of book is most commonly made by your company? How important? So yeah, that's a good one. Awesome. Love it. I forgot to add, they have another social media outlet. I forgot to add that one. Oh, AJ.
Hello. How are you? I'm fun.
Hey, doing good. Hey, we were just talking about you.
Awesome. How's it going?
Oh, it's going good. It's going good. I'm lucky to have such good students, you know.
We got a big class.
Yeah, full of bright minds, AJ. So thank you for coming and visiting. So they've got some good questions, and just if you could spend some time just talking about yourself, about your business, and then I'm just going to open it up for Q&A, questions from everybody.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me on, Fawn. It's always a pleasure, and I'll try and keep my introduction brief so that we have time for questions. I'm excited to hear from everybody. So I don't know how much MFON told you about previously, but Just a little bit of background. I went to University of Wisconsin-Madison. I studied industrial engineering. I was always sort of somewhere in between business and liking to see how to put things together and how things work. And so I thought it would be cool to go a different route and study engineering. When I graduated, I was looking for something more in the business world. So I pursued commercial banking, which I did for 3 years. And I was in a specialty software and technology group. So the companies that we worked with were all, most of them were software companies that had a recurring revenue model, like Zoom, for instance, where you pay $12 a month or something for access to it. So I did that for 3 years. And in the meantime, my brother was finishing up a PhD from Northwestern in English literature. He's a dedicated Shakespeare scholar, and he could tell you all about that. But we sort of have very different backgrounds on the surface, but we've always really both been interested in telling our own story, and particularly the stories of our families that we sort of saw as, if you're not proactive about it, they kind of just slip away. Especially some of our grandparents that we'd never met before. We only had a few fragments of notes about them, and they were so important to us that we felt like it was a great service for us to offer this to other people, to do it before it's too late. And also really for ourselves, telling our own story. Our philosophy really, like there's a great Ben Franklin quote. He says, to paraphrase, either do something worth writing or write something worth doing. And so sort of the concept of writing our business plan was that we were writing something worth doing. And that's what we've been doing for the last 3 years, is sort of practicing what we preach by helping other people tell their stories. But in doing so, we've been telling our own story. So put simply, we started off working with clients mainly on private collection projects where somebody wanted to write an open letter to their grandchildren, or somebody wanted to document their family history. So they're sort of like family heirlooms that would be passed down from one generation to another. Pretty quickly though, as we started talking to more people, a lot of our clients want to publish to a wider audience. So say about 50% of people are now publishing, and we still do like the private collection stuff. So just to give you a sense of the types of products that we currently do, we do like anything like a novel to like a coffee table type book that's graphic heavy. And most of our books are derived through interviews. So like basically we will interview someone for the shortest book that we offer now is a 60-minute interview, which usually converts into about 20 to 30 pages of text. And oftentimes our books include many different contributors. So say average book has about 20 people that we interview and incorporate that into a narrative. So if we're doing a story on the history of a business, for example, we might interview people that are part of the family of the owners. We might be interviewing clients. We might be interviewing people that are suppliers to the business, or just longtime trustees of the business. So we do a lot to kind of understand kind of the essence of whatever the topic that we're doing is. And that's about the first 2 years. And then in the last half year to a year, we've been really working on building our digital offerings. So everything that we do now is, we use a lot of technology in the way that we operate, but it's sort of an analog service still, where we'll call someone, we'll interview them, we'll transcribe it, then we'll convert that to writing, then we'll do design work, and bookmaking and all of that. Right now we're working on a digital product that sort of takes all of those tools and all of that know-how and process that we do on the back end that most of our clients don't care about or know about, and we give them the tools to do all of this sort of stuff on their own. And so we'll probably have this product out in early 2020s or 2021, not 2020. Excited to release that, and we'll keep everyone in suspense on the details, but happy to answer any questions that you may have.
All right, the floor is open for questions.
So yeah, I had a question about when it comes to planning the business, and wanted to know like what were the factors that you saw in like the business, like when it comes to the entire things you needed to set it up, and then like the things you are planning to like achieve from the business. Like what were the factors that you kind of saw the potential to make the business a success?
Yeah, I think it's easy to get caught up or overwhelmed by all the different things that you need to do to start a business, and the list is never ending, and it feels like you knock off one thing and you add on 2 more things to the list. But really, we started off just like the Nike slogan, just do it. So basically, we kind of sat down originally and thought, what sort of things do we need to be thinking about in order to start the business? So we started just writing down potential clients and like starting to sketch out what we thought the market looked like. Talking about sales strategy, how would we do accounting? How would we hire and manage people? What's our social media presence look like? And so kind of just taking all these large buckets and taking everything that we had collected already that would be useful for the business and starting to really map out and see where everything fits. One example I like to use is the community bucket. So like that was one of our main kind of targets, was how do we serve our community and what's our place in our community? And upon starting the business, we don't have any relationship. Our company doesn't have any relationship with the community. So really it's aspirational kind of when you're setting up the organization. You're saying, this is how I envision it. Now I need to like do the work and fill in these areas. So that's sort of the planning phase, I think, really thinking from a high level, all the different components of the business. And then really prioritizing things is important. So another example, we're actually publishing our own memoir, and it'll probably be available in 2 to 3 weeks. But one of the examples I use for prioritizing, when we first started, we needed to get business cards, we needed to establish an LLC, we needed to get a bank account, we needed to get business credit cards, because if someone's using their personal credit card and someone's using another one, you have no idea where all these expenses, and it's impossible to keep track of everything. So we really were careful about writing out all the things that we needed to do and prioritizing them. So for instance, you can't get a business credit card unless you have a business bank account. And you can't have a business bank account unless you have established an organization. And so that means that you first need to create an LLC. Then you need to establish the bank account. Then you need to get the business card. So there's so many, and this is just relevant to any process. But just write down everything that you think you need to do. And then after that, go through the list and say, all right, what are the order of operations? What needs to get done first, second, and third in order to get to where we want to be?
That was good. Goni, you had a question.
Yeah, when you just started the business, what was your target of like customer base? What was your vision of the people that are going to buy your product?
Yeah, I think really we started thinking, and I've seen this as a common theme, but we really thought about ourselves. Like we wanted to create a tool and a way for us to tell our own story really effectively. And so we're always thinking about how can we make our own jobs easier. And the reason that I left the bank, I learned a ton there, and I really enjoyed the people that I worked with, but I felt like I was missing this creative part of my life where I wanted to make stuff and tell my story. And so we really started the company to kind of like give ourselves the tools to do so. And our clients, so they started off as, like I was explaining to a previous class, they started off as sort of like higher tier products where they're fairly expensive to write a book and to create a book. A lot of time and expertise goes into doing that. Could take hundreds and hundreds of hours to do something, to like writing a book. So naturally we started off with a very elite, I guess you could say, clientele, although we had no interest in only serving that market from the very beginning. So we've basically been working since then to find efficiencies, make our process easier, and ultimately make this accessible to as many people as possible. Thank you.
Questions?
When you talk about opening it to like a wider range, what like strategies do you think about when you try to, because you said it is very expensive, so how are you planning on opening it to more range of people?
Yeah, I think it's so hard to point to anything very specific. It's really a series of it's a continuous improvement process where we're always identifying the bottleneck of our business, or what's the hardest, where does everything slow down? How can we make that more efficient? How can we make that better? So to use one example, so I said earlier that each of our books has 20 people that we interview. If we're spending all of our time emailing people, asking them when they're available for an interview and going back and forth with that, we're not going to be able to get anything done. So just the simple solution of buying a calendar software where you can send someone times is just one example of efficiencies that we can find. But the other more dramatic and exciting example is that right now we are conducting all of the interviews, and I love interviewing people. It's one of my favorite parts of the job. It's so interesting to learn from different people. And one of the reasons why we started this in the first place is because you get to have really great conversations with people that you admire, people that might have totally different backgrounds or opinions or perspectives than you. So you always learn a ton. But we are in this digital product kind of giving our clients or authors the ability to interview their own subjects. So instead of me interviewing your family member, you could do it, and you could have a great conversation with your family without my having to be there. So that's one really exciting. Not only is it an efficiency that brings down the cost, but it's actually a better experience and a better product. Great question. Thanks, Connie.
What is your current project? Sorry.
Go ahead.
What is your current project you're working on? Or multiple, if you are working on multiple?
So I think the most exciting project that we're working on right now is this memoir about her own business that we're wrapping up right now. So to me, that's my most exciting one right now. But there's a couple other really interesting biographies that we're working on from some like titans of the industry. We're working on just got off a call with a family office that has one of the largest companies in America. Actually, they have a foundation, and they're looking to write their founder's intent statement. So basically, explaining why the founders of the business set up this foundation and what the money should be used for. So we're interviewing all of the family members and the stakeholders and the business people, and trying the founders are no longer alive. So we're trying to kind of capture and distill all of that information of what we believe the founders intend to be, which is really cool because it has a really profound impact, because they have a huge endowment and the ability to make so much great change for our country and the world. And so we're really excited to be a part of that project. But from a selfish standpoint, I'm excited about our book. It's sort of my first official publication as an author. So that's cool for me. Thanks, Libby.
Was it Julia and then Goni?
Yeah, I wanted to ask about like how well do you think your company would do if you like took it outside the States and like kind of globalize it? Because the last time I was watching like a show, and they were talking about one of the European countries, their most popular books that was sold in the bookstore was autobiographies of like random people, because the country didn't have like a much of a history as a whole. So like a lot of people are motivated to like add on to the history by making their own autobiographies. So like knowing like there is like there are countries that will like appreciate your company's system, like how well do you think it would do?
Yeah, which country did you say that was?
I don't really remember, but it was a European country. I think it was somewhere around like Norway or something.
Okay, that's super.
Or like Czech.
Yeah, I think that what we do is universal. It's what it is a human instinct to tell your story. You see cavemen and women are etching their stories onto walls, and there's hieroglyphics that are being dug up from thousands of years ago. And so telling your story is very universal. And I think it's definitely really exciting to see what we can do with this digital product and scaling that out. I think that'll be much easier than sort of the white glove business that we have currently. But I think we pull, like when we're thinking about our marketing and just kind of why we do what we do, my brother, especially, who's expert in Renaissance literature, so he pulls a lot of his knowledge from sort of what went on in Europe in the Renaissance. But there's also another African proverb which we just love, which is when an old person dies, a library burns down, which I think captures a lot of the essence of what we do. So that desire is certainly global or universal.
That's good. Goni, you had a question.
Yeah, so how will you describe the competition in your area? Will you say you have a lot of competition, or is it something that is more unique to your company?
Yeah, I think that we've never really competed directly for this type of project with someone else. Like someone that wanted to work with us has never, I think it only happened one time in 3 years where it's like, oh, we found someone else to do this. And I think that might have just been a personal relationship, but I think our competition, there's a lot of different businesses that are trying to help people tell stories, and like on the surface, storytelling is such a buzzword, and it's, you go on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter and it says like, what's on your mind, or Snapchat, and they're all called stories. And so like in a sense, there is a competition with, does someone tell their story immediately to everybody, or does somebody take our approach and sort of tell a longer form story to a more tailored audience, with more control and privacy over it? So I think there is certainly a competition with larger social media and technology companies. And I think I sort of view us as the next evolution of this like social media, where you're not just surrendering all of your data to these large technology companies, where they're only having you tell your story so that they can take your data and then use that to sell you products. We are putting the stories into our clients and authors' hands so that they can use that to improve their own lives, not so that we can target ads at them. So when I think about competition, I think it's really changing this mindset and lifestyle and culture that we have from like using a free social media service. It's not free. So we're trying to compete with that in a lot of ways.
I think that's like really interesting how, like you said, you like, yeah, you're competing with like social media where like people can do it instantly. So like, do you consider like your business to be like partly like a social media, like where like you want it to be more accessible to people who wants to keep their records, or would it be more like a publishing company sort of deal?
Yeah, so I think what we're building right now is private by default. And if you want to share it, you have that option, but it's very clear to you. And I think it's very clear to you whether or not it's public or private. And it's really important that it's easy to understand and that you know exactly what people can see and what people can't see.
Questions?
What else? I love the questions so far. Thank you.
I have a question. I'm kind of curious. What book do you produce more? Like, what type of book do you produce more so than the others?
Yeah. So we started off kind of like saying that the client can do whatever they want. Then we started giving more suggestions and offering a bunch of different types of products. And it's really ultimately been a blend of all the things that we offer. But I'd say the most common thing that we do is where we have sort of a primary narrator who's telling their story. And then we invite maybe 20 other people to share stories about that individual or about the topic that they're talking about. So it's sort of like a memoir with like a lot of depth and multiple perspectives around that central narrative.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Drew.
Questions?
What else?
It may be a bit of like a bold question, but you said that maybe your competition is like social media by itself. How can you compete with something that is free, which much more appealing to a lot of people?
Yeah, I think that is one of the largest challenges is and I think that people are starting to realize that social media, while it doesn't cost any money, it's not free because they're taking your data and they're making a ton of money off that. And there's there's a I forgot exactly what the phrase is, but people say that if you're not paying for it, then if you're not paying for the product, then you are the product. So social media is really the client are all the advertisers, the products are us. We are what's being sold to the advertisers. And I think that for me to take your family memories or your own stories and everything and to just throw it into this, I sort of think of it as like a dumpster of advertisements for sunglasses and boots and all this different merchandise. When I went on Instagram a few days ago, or a couple of weeks ago actually, and I just counted for the first time. I'm like, what? Because every time I go through it, it's all advertisements. I counted, it's 3 photos and then an ad, 3 photos and then an ad. And so for your most important treasures to be kind of buried into this landmine of advertisements, for me, that's not where I want to keep a lot of the stuff that I care about. So I think you have a great point. It is free, and it's going to be hard to change some people's minds on it. But I think there's enough people that are sort of fed up with this model. And to me, it's crazy that this is the way that the world is right now. That these tech companies are just using all of our data against us.
Let's take one more question.
Sure. Anything.
So once you said like people are like starting to get fed up with the fact that they are becoming a product to the advertisers and stuff, like do you think that so basically your consumers are like you're targeting people who are like anti-technology more?
People who are on what technology?
Like.
No, I don't see it as anti-technology. The way that we see what we're doing is actually, instead of, so like Facebook takes their money and everything that they invest is into exploiting data better or providing a better service to the advertiser so that they can flash something back at you that you'll at the right time, at the right price, the right product so that you want to buy it. What we're trying to do with our technology is take all of our research and development and product goes back into helping people tell their story better so that they have better access to it, so that they can find something when they need it, and so that they can have a better experience telling it. And it has nothing to do with kind of like everything is focused on our authors and our people so that they can help tell their story better, that they can communicate with their family better, they can communicate with their friends better, and they can communicate with unborn children or future generations more effectively.
Awesome. AJ, I want to be respectful of your time because we're at 7:30. If they had any questions and want to reach you, how could they do that?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you all for such great questions and for having me in the class. It's been great. And I will type my email into the chat box, and feel free, let me make sure that's right. Yeah, so I just put my email in the chat. Feel free to reach out to me whenever, questions or just want to chat. I'd be happy to. And appreciate everyone's time tonight.
All right, let's give AJ a virtual hand clap. Thank you so much.
Thank you, I'm fun. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody, and I'll talk to you later, AJ.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye, everybody.